Hi, I'm Brian from the channel Brian, and I'm here reviewing the 5th Marvel movie I've seen in a year, and the 11th major Marvel property since 2021, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and before the year is over, we're getting She-Hulk, Black Panther 2, Thor 4, and Miss Marvel. 15 properties in 2 years. That's absolutely insane, right? Like, I'm not crazy. That is a nuts amount of content. I defended Marvel movies for a long time, most of the pre-Endgame era. However, we've seen an incredibly sudden shift where just the annual Disney Marvel catalog is the same size as their entire yearly cinematic output like 5 or 6 years ago. The Marvel content stream exists in a toxic perpetuity, strong-arming most every other movie out of the market, which is not a good thing even if you stan these characters. This is what people like Martin Scorsese are talking about. There's nothing wrong with Marvel so long as it doesn't encroach upon a healthy artistic market, which Disney is indisputably, objectively doing, and nobody cares. But Doctor Strange 2? I don't know how to talk about it without spoilers, so I won't. I know if you give a shit, you've seen this already. Here goes. Doctor Strange 2 is yet another movie which led to a director leaving the project due to creative differences, always a good sign. But bringing Sam Raimi to replace Scott Derrickson raised some eyebrows, with the Spider-Man films as proof of concept that he could make a comic book film work with his unique visual style. The best thing about this film is, sometimes that's still true. The special effects are straining to make this a visually compelling film. But just like the first Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness succeeds at both aims of twisty, surreal CGI landscapes and flashy magical combat. Sam Raimi's horror angle I found actually kind of surface level and annoying, but when it comes to violence and gore, I couldn't have asked for anything better than what we got. It's a little arresting when the first action scene of an MCU film gingerly holds on Doctor Strange yanking out a monster's eyeball with a street lamp. I can't decide if my favorite death from Wanda fighting the Illuminati is Black Bolt or Captain Carter getting sliced in half 5 seconds post saying, "I can do this all day." There's not a chance this should be rated R, nor should it be extreme as Evil Dead where it'd be warranted, but Multiverse of Madness is more violent than other MCU movies, which is a good thing if you want the audience to feel the consequences of what happens. Besides that, though, I wanted to like it. Sam Raimi is by nature a better director than a lot of the guys who direct Marvel movies, but this is the most for-hire example of his style I've ever seen. He was allowed to direct scenes, not a film. This is barely a Raimi film. It is the corporate-tested and approved cultural simulacra of one. There is everything the fan culture masses will point to and say, Sam Raimi does this, and therefore it is a Raimi film, in a deranged obsession with, yet cursory understanding of, auteur theory. But it is not one in spirit, it's all surface level. This is like you got a Raimi Stan account owner to direct an MCU film and make it look like one of his movies. You look at a movie like Drag Me to Hell, it's clearly by the Evil Dead guy, but I'm never saying to myself, this thing is only in the film because I'm supposed to be reminded of Evil Dead, which is all I'm supposed to think in Doctor Strange. It's still rad as hell the way Wanda fights back through the mirror dimension and crawls back through to reality, but if I want to watch a Raimi film for his style, this is the last film of his I'd watch. Sometimes his style serves as a straight-up interruption to whatever's happening. Why is there a 4-minute action beat of Doctor Strange wrestling evil souls berating him for controlling a corpse as he shows up to the climax? You're about to face off against the villain, and then the movie goes, wait, hang on one sec. And you thought this made the movie more structurally satisfying? Hello? But then the result is zombie Doctor Strange with a cape of dead souls, and that is f***ing awesome. This head-scratchingly clumsy and incoherent sequence of events is the experience of watching this film summed up in a few minutes. This movie is just It's so busy and overcrowded and disjointed, but that might partly be because there's something else we have to discuss now that it's becoming a problem. So, Doctor Strange 2's plot is comprehensible, right? It's not particularly obtuse, and I understood everything that was happening as it transpired. One problem, though, I don't have Disney Plus, and I haven't seen WandaVision. The last time I saw Scarlet Witch, she was mourning Vision beside Hawkeye next to a river. What happened? I know she did some red shit in a town and LARPed a sitcom, but the very first scene with Wanda here tells us she's the bad guy now and talks about something called the Darkhold like it's been introduced already. And her motivation is supplanting herself as the parent of the kids that she, I guess, conjured up for herself in WandaVision. I get what's happening in the immediate, but even if Multiverse of Madness's way of half-heartedly catching us up to speed tells us what happened, my experience was this is abrupt and very out of character for her. I have zero connection to the stakes and motivation of our villain, a character who until now I really liked, all because I didn't want to get Disney Plus, and that's a problem. Because Evil Wanda is really fun, and in the right script with some great motivation I could understand, it'd make for this nice dilemma about whether you should be rooting for her kinda downtrodden character finally taking what she wants. But it doesn't, because I haven't seen WandaVision. More like I WandaVision of you getting the hell out of my house for suggesting people should have to buy Disney Plus just to understand what's happening in the MCU. It's not enough for Disney to mandate theaters participate in their Marvel or Die ultimatum. They are now demanding even more money for audiences to understand those movies in the first place. If it bugs you that I've not seen the show and am criticizing this movie for it, suck it up. Everybody else has seen WandaVision. I guarantee you any major review is coming at this movie from that perspective. You can live with me, one guy, looking at it from this one. Watch another review if you want someone to tell you what you want to hear. That the MCU isn't getting much worse if you don't subscribe to their miserable, cynical way to ensure you keep buying their product out of FOMO. In the self-contained story, her kids are fucking annoying anyway, so I'm disconnected from that aspect of her character. But then after her entire arc since Age of Ultron letting her come into her own by rising above the fear of her own powers, she sacrifices herself because I guess everyone was right to fear her because she is a monster. Because that's a satisfying way for this character's journey to end. Lord knows consistency and proper screenwriting motivation are all out the window, so she'll probably come back. But then this conclusion with her death is dramatically null anyway. Remember when Captain America Civil War came out, and it had long-standing consequences and affected the trajectory of the MCU, like the film's events actually mattered? Just felt like bringing that up. Her being as evil as she is may be narratively justified by a bunch of fucking nonsense, but this is still a terrible handling of her character by writers who aren't concerned about things like character consistency, which lent the MCU much of its original appeal. I swear I'm doing my best at keeping this review focused on Doctor Strange 2 and not just a miscellaneous gripe fest for the MCU at large, but these issues connect with each other and impact the film. This review could be hours long if I said everything which just does not work because they're being lazy or have no idea what to do now that the Infinity Saga's over. Especially in this film, the multiverse is becoming less like a window into new creative possibilities and more a green light to write around anything we want, no matter how forced and convenient it is. I can't believe I even minorly criticized Everything Everywhere All at Once for its multiversal plausibility when this film has a universe I'm expected to believe functions where everybody is made of paint. For the campy whimsy implied by the title Multiverse of Madness, a sparse 3 universes are meaningfully explored, one of which being our native universe, and the other 2 being merely slight variations of it. Rachel McAdams is an inexplicably present fixture in this story. Underwritten as she was in the first film, her relationship with Doctor Strange is not interesting, and every attempt to make us believe their tragic, fatalistically doomed romance is so try hard. I love you in every universe. Like, blow me, dude. It's not like Cumberbatch is a bad Doctor Strange. I just wish movies where he's the protagonist gave him interesting things to do. Everything in this film is presented for the most immediate necessary impact to keep the film afloat, with zero concerns for pacing or flow or logic. America Chavez, for example, is the only person who can travel between universes. You got that? The only person. So when they travel to the Illuminati universe to escape Wanda, they've written themselves into a corner. The concept of dream walking only exists because they were like, shit, we need a way for Wanda to travel between universes too, but it's literally her motivation that she can't do that. It's so constantly inventing new shit just so the plot works. It just compounds so much, I had trouble keeping track of the new plot holes that were coming up. If by some chance you're upset I don't like this movie, answer every single one of these questions in the comments and I'll begin to consider thinking about liking it. Why does Wanda have reality-bending powers? I thought she was telekinetic and could brainwash people. Why does America being able to travel between universes mean there are no variants of her? If a variant of a person inhabiting a different universe causes that universe to explode, how come that didn't start happening in No Way Home? How come that didn't start happening in Loki? We know Wanda sent Starro to kidnap America, but who'd sent the demon trying to kill Strange and America in the cold open? If the other universes Wanda had kids, who is the father? Because Vision is a robot and doesn't have balls. Why did Wanda dreamwalking the first time cause her to inhabit that universe as a disembodied spirit for a few seconds before possessing that universe's Wanda? Why don't they just tell Scarlet Witch that inhabiting a different universe will cause both universes to blow up? Why does this businessman run past Doctor Strange 4 times? Does the light prognosticus only exist in one universe, or is it like between them? There's a Darkhold for every universe. How did the Doctor Strange variant America was with in the beginning get to the realm where the book was being held? Why are there random ass circles that trigger memory kiosks in the middle of the sidewalk? Why is that outside for everyone to see? How come America's memory projects her sucking her mothers into a multiverse portal and nobody walking by is like...
What the fuck?
Why does Wanda need a book of secret dark magic to lucid dream when there are people who have trained themselves to do that on their own? Why doesn't Scarlet Witch just go to a different universe where she didn't scare her kids as she was trying to kill their mom? Why was America getting scared by a bee enough to activate her powers? Seems like more things that happen in this movie should have triggered them if that's all it takes. Why did destroying the Dark Tower destroy the Darkhold in every universe? Where is the mountain Wong takes Wanda? And why are there 4 stone demons just hanging out there? Is this on Earth? Are there yet still more things on Earth that just haven't been discovered? Do you really think every dream sequence in the MCU was written with dreamwalking in mind, and it's not a forced plot device they invented because they wrote themselves into a corner? I sure do. Wait. The Illuminati sequence where it was just a bunch of Stan Twitter fan casts, that was annoying. John Krasinski played a character people pretend they can relate to on The Office, and now we have to pretend he's not a hack until the day we die. Awesome. This is the opposite of how fun and additive the fan service was in No Way Home. I'm so glad they retained absolutely nothing about what made that movie work. This isn't the worst Marvel movie, but as a piece of media that's like going to have an impact on culture and the way art is made and distributed, it is an absolute goddamn nightmare. It stinks because I've wanted the visuals and action to be this inventive and remotely authorial again in the MCU for a while, but the worst aspects of post-Endgame Marvel are coming into disastrous fruition here. And one of those things is vastly, vastly more important to me than the other. As a movie, this is like a light 4 to a high 3. Anyway, did you like this movie more than me, less than me? And if you care to, please tell me. And so if you like not only words but the way I arrange and then say them, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to me, Brian from the channel Brian. Thank you and goodbye.